long before European settlers set foot on the Great Plains. Before the Sioux, the Cheyenne, or the Comanche ruled these lands, an ancient war was fought. A war so brutal, so devastating, that it would leave behind a chilling reminder of the cost of conflict. This is the story of the Battle of Crow Creek, one of the largest and bloodiest battles between Native American tribes ever discovered. It was a time of change, a time of struggle. The land, once fertile and rich, was growing dry. Crops were failing. Resources were scarce. And in the heart of the Great Plains, two rival tribes came to a fateful collision. The result? A massacre, the scale of which has only recently been uncovered. To understand why this battle happened, we first need to understand who these people were. The Crow Creek village was home to a group of Native Americans believed to be ancestors of the Mandan, Arikara, and other Plains tribes. They were farmers and hunters, living off corn, squash, and bison. Their villages were fortified, their society structured, and their way of life depended on the balance between the land and the seasons. But around the early 1300s, that balance was broken. Climate change, shifting weather patterns, and prolonged droughts had made food scarce. And when resources become scarce, tension rises. Neighboring tribes, some familiar, some enemies, began looking to each other for survival. Not through trade, but through war. Historians believe that the people of Crow Creek were at war with a rival group, possibly another Siouan-speaking or Caddo-speaking people. Whether it was over food, hunting grounds, or territory, one thing is clear: the attackers wanted this land, and they would stop at nothing to take it. On that fateful day, the people of Crow Creek never saw it coming. Maybe it was just before dawn, when the world was still asleep. Maybe it was under the cover of a storm, when the rain and wind masked the sounds of approaching enemies. Whatever the moment, when the attack came, it came fast, and it came with brutal efficiency. The enemy warriors struck with full force, breaching the village walls, setting huts ablaze, and cutting down anyone who resisted. What followed was not just a battle. It was a massacre. The warriors of Crow Creek fought fiercely, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. The attackers did not come to negotiate. They came to destroy. Within hours, the battle was over. But the slaughter had just begun. When archaeologists unearthed the remains at Crow Creek, they found something horrific. Over 480 bodies lay buried in a mass grave, the victims of one of the largest massacres in North American history. But it wasn't just the number of dead that shocked historians. It was the way they died. Many of them had been scalped. Others showed signs of blunt force trauma, arrow wounds, and even mutilation. Some had their hands and feet removed, a sign that they had been tortured before being killed. Whoever attacked Crow Creek wanted to send a message. This wasn't just war. It was extermination. After the battle, the village was abandoned. The attackers took what they wanted: food, weapons, captives, and left behind nothing but ashes and the dead. But why? Why wipe out an entire village? Some historians believe this was a land grab. The victorious tribe wanted the prime hunting and farming land along the Missouri River. Others suggest revenge, a retaliatory strike for an earlier conflict. Whatever the reason, Crow Creek would remain empty until the land healed and new people came to reclaim it. Today, Crow Creek stands as a stark reminder of the wars that shaped early Native American history. Long before Europeans arrived, long before guns and horses changed warfare, the tribes of North America fought their own battles, not for gold, not for conquest, but for survival. And while their names may be lost to time, their story remains. The warriors who fell at Crow Creek. The men, women, and children who perished that day. They were part of something greater than just a battle. They were part of a long, unbroken history of struggle, resilience, and survival. This is the story of the Battle of Crow Creek. One of the bloodiest battles in Native American history. A war fought, and lost, in the shadows of time. That's the end of this ride through history. I sure appreciate you taking the time to travel back with me to the days of dust, grit, and untamed frontiers. If you liked this tale, there's plenty more where that came from. So do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that OL notification bell so you don't miss the next adventure. Round these parts, history ain't just something in books, it's a story still waitin' to be told. Until next time, keep the spirit of the Old West alive, and I'll see you down the trail.